Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about the match between Barcelona and Leganés. Barcelona is going to be hosting Leganés on Sunday night after coming off from a 3-2 win against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Barcelona is going to want to continue their winning streak, but this time in La Liga. And Hansi is slowly getting his team back because with the inclusion of Ronald Araujo and Andreas Christensen and Ansu Fati, we can expect to see a very strong Barcelona in the very near future. So there's plenty to look forward to. So before we even talk about this matchup between FC Barcelona and Leganés, let's discuss two different topics. I want to speak about Jonathan Tah and then later speak about Ferran Torres. Everything is going to be organized on the timeline down below, so if you do want to skip this part and go straight to the match preview, that is completely fine. Once again, everything is going to be organized on the timeline down below. So let's first talk about Jonathan Tah. For those of you guys who were wondering whether there were any doubts, right, about Jonathan Tah, whether Barcelona can afford Tah, and if there's like another team like maybe City or Bayern that wants Jonathan Tah, no need to worry about that. FC Barcelona have this signing completely locked down. It says here, according to the ever-reliable Fabrizio Romano, and I quote, "The negotiations between Barcelona and Jonathan Tah are very, very advanced. The Catalan club is currently leading the race. Hansi is involved in this operation, hoping for a full agreement to be reached." And so, like I've said, Jonathan Tah will most likely join Barcelona in the summer of 2025. It would be nice for him to join us in January 2025, so in about 3 weeks from today, but Barcelona do not want to spend a single dime for Tah, because if they pay for him in January, they would have to pay like maybe 6 million euros, maybe 7 million euros. Might as well just wait another 5 to 6 months and get him for free. I believe that Jonathan Tah is a center back that can work wonders under Hansi Flick's Barca. Jonathan Tah is like a mix of Inigo Martinez and I would even say Cubarsí, and I say that because Jonathan Tah is a great ball distributor like Cubarsí and also is around the same age range of Inigo Martinez, right? He is very much a veteran player, somebody who can lead the back line alongside with either Inigo Martinez, maybe Araujo, or maybe even Cubarsí. Tah does carry a lot of experience, so he is going to be a great signing. He's also going to be considered as like one of the biggest aerial threats that Barcelona will have alongside with Araujo and Lewandowski. So now let's move on towards the next conversation and let's speak about Ferran Torres. And the reason why I do want to bring this up is because I want us to like notice something here. I believe that the more that we stay with Ferran Torres, the more of a blessing it's starting to become. And I say that because I believe that Hansi Flick has cracked the code with Ferran Torres, meaning that Hansi has decided that Ferran Torres is not going to be one of our starters, right? Because honestly, he may not be starter material, but he definitely does see Ferran Torres as like a backup weapon. Like if our weapons don't work in the beginning of the game, like Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, Rafinha, right? If those players are out of ammo, Ferran Torres is the backup one, a player that no team would expect to go up against. Fernando Polo has claimed that Hansi Flick values Ferran Torres' mental strength and how he faces his role as a substitute. And that is why I do say Hansi Flick wants to use Ferran Torres as like a backup, high-impact substitute. And that's very, very good because I do think that it does suit him, and Ferran Torres does look very okay with it. Torres in the past 3 games has scored 4 total goals, so he is currently on form, and he's the type of player that does give Flick the great attitude, the great energy, the great positive mentality. Like for example, in the match against Borussia Dortmund were pressing us very, very hard, and a player like Lewandowski could not really react to that nor spend a lot of time on the ball, which made us very ineffective. So Dortmund had us very well, almost having us by the neck, and I was surprised when Dortmund were performing like that because I was like, okay, well, where was this defensive performance against Real Madrid? Why did you guys allow Vinicius to make him think that he's the best left winger in the world? But then against Barcelona, they were so on point in terms of their defensive game. But nonetheless, yeah, we were in deep trouble. And Ferran Torres, when he was on the sidelines, he was dying to come in. And then as soon as he came in to replace Lewandowski, who once again was not doing anything at that time against Dortmund, it only took him 4 minutes to make a difference. We saw Fermin Lopez distribute a volley from Jules Koundé's amazing cross, but then it was saved. But next to the goalkeeper, Ferran Torres was there, and he was able to get the rebound and make it 2-1. Dortmund came back to make it 2-2. We're like, oh my god, Dortmund want to fight. They want to win this game. Is it over? Are we going to end this match with only 1 point? And with 5 minutes left, Pedri started a fast counterattack and passed it to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal made a very sleek, silk, precise, brilliant assist to Ferran Torres, went through the whole defensive line, and Ferran Torres beats the goalkeeper, takes his time, right? Takes like about 10 to 15 days to shoot the ball, but the ball eventually does go behind the net, and he wins the game for Barcelona 3-2. It only took Torres 14 minutes to become the hero of this game, and that's really good because for a player like him, right, like the fact that he is okay with being a super sub, I believe that he's fine because the fact that he scored 2 goals in 14 minutes, he's like, my job is done. I don't need to do anything more. There's no reason for me to play 90 minutes if I can score 2 goals in only 40 minutes and win games for Barcelona. So it's quite clear that Flick does view him as like a 4th or 5th forward in the front line because Rafinha, you're not going to bench Rafinha. He's in top form. He's one of the assist and goal leaders in La Liga. Lewandowski right now, he's back to his best at the age of 36 26 years old. He's only 3 goals away from equaling his 26 goal tally from last season. And then we do have Lamine Yamal, where, you know, like, why even try to defend Lamine Yamal when he can defend himself, right? It's just, he is Lamine Yamal. He is the best youngster and the best right winger in the world. Yes, you guys heard that right. The best right winger in the world. So there's no way Ferran Torres can break through this front three, and I believe that Ferran Torres knows this and he's fine with that, and he does not bring any negative energy. He's not out there on the bench just like, oh my god, this sucks, and just tries to destroy the locker room. No, Ferran Torres accepts his role, and when he's on there on the pitch, he does an amazing job. So congratulations to Ferran Torres, and hopefully in this match against Leganés, maybe he could start, and if not, worst case scenario, he plays 20 to 25 minutes and makes a great impact. Now let's speak about this game where we do face Leganés, and in the past 5 matches, Barcelona have won 4 times. There was only once where Leganés did beat us, which was back in 2018, September 26. Leganés did beat us 2-1, but ever since then, Barcelona have always claimed victory. And the last time Barcelona played Leganés in general was back in 2020. Yes, it's been a very long time. Leganés has not been in this league for a total of 4 years, almost 5 years. And in that game between Barcelona and Leganés where they won 2-0, we had a very different team. Like, our backline was Firpo, Lenglet, Piqué, and Sergi Roberto. I remember talking about this game. Like, you guys can go look back at that match review, but I'm like, dude, like, this team freaking sucks. but this, you know, we got lucky, right? We got the 2-0 win. Messi ended up scoring on the 69th minute. Ansu Fati, who at that time was one of the best youngsters in the world, scored on the 42nd minute, so he just scored the first goal, and we had Griezmann as the striker. It was very much a different team, and now our midfield was Arthur, Busquets, and Rakitic. It's crazy. And hopefully in this next matchup, players like Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine Yamal can do something even more extraordinary and hopefully put us into a 4-5-0 win. Now, looking at Leganés' form, it's pretty sad. I'm not going to lie. I mean, like, any team has the capability to make us go through struggles, but this team is like one of the worst. They're ranked in 17th place in the league with only 15 points. If you look at their goal stats, their expected goal rate is at the moment is 11.2. So they're ranked in 20. Shots on target per match, they're ranked in 18th place, which is 2.5 shots on target per 90 minutes. It's not a lot. Big chances missed, ranked in 19th place with a total of 12. Then looking at the actual goals per match, they're in 17th place. They only average 0.9 goals per 90 minutes. They concede 1.4 goals per 90 minutes. So they're one of the worst. And their average possession is 43.5. They're not the best. They cannot retain the ball. Clearly, you can see that Barcelona and Madrid just overpower any other team right now. So Hansi Flick went on to the press conference giving us an idea on who could be starting, who could we see, and what the match might look like. And so this is what he said, and I quote, "We have to concentrate 100% because every team is looking for weaknesses. I told the players that it is up to us to play our game," which is very true. Every time we do face any team, they always look to expose our back line, and that's mainly because we only play with 2 center backs. Most of the teams love to counterattack us on the left flank when there is open spaces, so we do have to watch out for that. As for the suspension of Hansi Flick, he also spoke about that, and he said, "It's tough, but I accept my suspension. We're all human and everyone makes mistakes. I have to control my emotions." So it's very professional for Flick to act like this. He's not saying like, oh yeah, like I never did anything and the La Liga needs to watch out because they make the wrong calls. Flick is being very professional here with great manners because we all know the truth. We all know that if this was us trying to speak about this situation where we got suspended, we would have said a completely different thing. Because when you look at what Flick did to make him get suspended, that guy only did like one little small gesture, and to the ref they're like, no, that's so offensive. Oh my god, you have offended me. Here's gonna be a red card. Get out of here. And then they give him a 2-match suspension. Really, dude? And then you have Ancelotti out there complaining to the ref over and over again every 5 to 10 minutes, screaming at the refs, and all they give him is a yellow and nothing more. It's crazy. And then Flick spoke about the rotations, and this is what he said: "It's good to have fresh legs on the pitch, and that's what we'll have to see tomorrow. There could be rotations against Leganés." And one of the players that Flick does want to rotate, right, is for sure going to be either Inigo Martinez or Cubarsí, because he also spoke about Ronald Araujo, and he said the plan is that Araujo can play his first minutes tomorrow, and he is ready. So I cannot wait to see Araujo return. Like I've said before, Araujo is not going to find it easy to break into the back line of Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez because they have been performing really good, and we have seen that through Gavi and Ansu Fati and all of these players that have been trying to break into the 11. It's really hard for these players to start, especially coming back from injury. Look at Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong came back after a 3 to 4 month injury, and he has yet to have a starting role. He cannot bench Olmo, Casado, nor Pedri. So we'll see. Now let's move on towards the starting 11 and what we could expect to see. I expect to see Peña in goal, with our backline being Gerard Martin, right, on the left back position, because if there's going to be rotations, let's rest Alejandro Balde because a huge game is coming up, which will be against Atlético Madrid. And then the rest of the backline is going to be Inigo Martinez, Cubarsí, and Jules Koundé. As for our double pivot, it's going to be Pedri and Casado, as always, with our front 4 4 being Rafinha on the left wing position, Daniel Olmo on the attacking midfield position, Lamine Yamal on the right, and Ferran Torres on the striker position. Now let me explain why I am saying this. When I was looking at that match between Barcelona and Dortmund, and even in the match between Barcelona and Betis, to me Lewandowski does look fatigued and he looks tired. Barcelona have been playing recently every 2 to 3 days, and for someone like him who's 36 years old, of course I expect him to feel fatigue and feel a little slow. I think that he does need to freshen up. Yes, it's true, Lewandowski scored a goal against Real Betis, but still, like outside of that goal, he does look a little, I would just say, not energized. And when you have Ferran Torres there in place of Lewandowski, the Barcelona team looks much different because he makes those runs. He's much more hyperactive, and I think that since we are facing Leganes, it would be a great time to have Lewandowski just get some rest and to be fully 100% ready mentally and physically against Atlético Madrid. In terms of the rotated players, like Hansi said, most likely Araujo is going to be coming in for either Kubarsi or Inigo Martinez. Frankie most likely will be coming in for Daniel Olmo later in the game to give Olmo some rest, Gavi coming in for Pedri, and Fermin Lopez coming in for Rafinha. So let me know in the comment sections down below, who do you want to see start and who do you want to see come in later in the game? Do you believe that this starting 11 that I have placed is the correct 11 to face Leganes, or do you want to see Lewandowski play the full 90 minutes? That is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.